play a stable game. They're my favorites, but I also think 2-1 is probably the most likely result.
Okay, so we've got 3 of us going for Secret. Not that it makes any difference what I say, but I would like to remind you that I'm 100% from yesterday, buddies.
Do we want to do this Survivor style? If somebody is wrong with their prediction, they're just off the panel. They're just done.
Okay,
I'd like that.
Sin said he wanted to go home anyway.
It seems to be the only way that I can get Paul off the panel.
It will be the only way. They've penciled in for every single one. We're into the draft for game 1 of LGD versus Team Secret. This is the winner's game. The winner will advance to the upper bracket as the top seed.
So these teams have played once with their current roster since TI. They tied 1-1. It was in the group stage of Nunyon, I believe. Really big heroes for both teams. Darkseer, already banned, and Ember Spirit. And interesting to see for me is, does the Slardar slip through? Because Secret got it one time in the grand finals, and they crushed Vici Gaming.
LGD ignored it in their entire series against Cloud9. It was not banned or picked 3 games in a row.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That does not happen.
Which was interesting, not so much from an LGD perspective, because I understand for LGD it might not be the ideal hero for how they play, but I was really surprised that Cloud9 ignored it entirely too. In this matchup, it won't happen.
How many Midases did Cloud9 buy that series?
0, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
They've changed.
Night Stalker, man, interesting.
Okay, so there's a Slardar or a Doom coming in.
Nifty little opening for an Ember Spirit. We've seen Eternal Enemy play a really well-played Ember Spirit game in one of the games against Newbie Young.
And interesting for me is that the Night Stalker LGD did pick in one of the games against Cloud9. That was actually the game they lost, I believe. So, understandable if Team Secret want to play this kind of split pushy style and they're scared of getting picked off and losing map control to a Night Stalker. I don't think you want to overall first pick Ember Spirit right now in Dota, though. I think that's too early.
I mean, you say that, but a lot of teams first pick Shadow Fiend, and I feel like that's also...
I think that's okay when you're Radiant. I think it's easier to defend.
Yet every time we've seen it happen, a few, has been when they've been on the Dire side. We saw Evil Geniuses doing it twice yesterday on the Dire side, Secret doing it twice today on the Dire side.
So Secret, LGD banned the Undying, so they're going to get either the Slardar or the Ember if they want it here.
Yeah, Slardar
takes the Slardar.
Interesting. I was almost sure Secret wouldn't take it if they just checked the last series. The fact that LGD ignored it. They might have just done it as a mind game and been like, we want to save our Slardar for later, we think we could beat Cloud9 without it, but
So
this is 100% expected from LGD.
Tuscan's SF.
Yeah, they go for the Dire SF as well.
They picked SF every game against Cloud9.
It's definitely one of their comfort heroes.
So there's a Wind Ranger in the pool that they need to pick up if they want it for Weeha now. I think it'll be banned out if they don't. There's also the Ember Spirit, obviously.
Yeah, obviously the Shadow Fiend also a bit of a block pick, because you don't want to be giving the Radiant Shadow Fiend to Weeha either.
Do you want to give him Wind Ranger, though?
I think Tusk is a really good hero against Wind Ranger, actually. He counters the hero very nicely, blocks her path off with Wind Run with Ice Shards. You can't miss Walrus Punch in Wind Run, so you have a guaranteed slow.
That's a good point.
And you can bring heroes in close against Windrunner too, which is a lot of the time very useful. So.
I think you'd rather give them the Wind Ranger because Secret's so good at abusing the Radiant jungle, and Wind Ranger can't farm it quite the way that Shadow Fiend can.
So 0 support. Well, it's probably a support Tusk for LGD. Both games they played it, they didn't put it on ROTK. They played it on, I think, MMY both times in their last series. I'm pretty sure. So only one support picked in the first phase, and that opens up for some support bans, I think. This is Dazzle. Great pick in the last series, LGD versus Cloud9.
Still a Bane Elemental in the pool.
Yeah. I think they're going to ban that one, actually, for LGD.
Ancient Apparition. Winter Wyvern, most notably. We do know that Secret loves the Bane Elemental, though.
Yeah, so they haven't grabbed the Envy hero yet. We've seen him mainly on just Ember or Anti-Mage lately, but not sure if they'll want to go for either of those this game.
And one more thing, actually, LGD's last game against Cloud9, they picked Shadow Fiend and Ember, and they safe laned the Shadow Fiend with a Visage and a Dazzle, and then they played Ember mid for maybe. So Sylar can play the Shadow Fiend. This is no guarantee that it's even mid in the first place. And I think it could be an interesting approach for LGD to ban Bane and take Ember right now, and try to go that route. But then they also give a lot of information away about their draft, so difficult to say.
Yeah, I also think they need to be careful here, just that they don't get Anti-Mage, because that's definitely something Secret will turn to if you don't get enough control. They have Tusk, that's a pretty good start. Still curious. So you said it was a support Tusk last time, which would mean they haven't picked RTKs here yet. Then
He's going to play Clockwork again, I think.
it's definitely one of his more comfortable heroes.
Yeah, it's a good pick against Slardar too.
Actually, Wind Ranger as well.
Yeah, it's great.
If you're LGD here, don't you ban the Bane? I think you do.
I think you do.
Ban Bane, pick Clockwork seems really solid to me. There is, of course, the opportunity for Secret too. Okay, they're going to ban
Bounty
Bounty.
Hunter goes.
Well, I get that. They have the Wind Ranger matchup against the Shadow Fiend. If the Bounty Hunter roams around on him, that's going to be a very difficult lane to play. Gyrocopter follow-up. So they're very susceptible to ganks early on. So the Bounty Hunter ban definitely makes sense.
So this will be a bang.
Also can contest the jungle, and that's something Shadowfiend will be looking to take advantage of. As could Gyro.
Gyro is one of the best safe lane carries against an off-lane Slardar. You get punished super hard when you try to come in with a Slardar. You actually can't really go in on the Gyro with Sprint just because Rocket Barrage tears through 2/3 of your health.
And the Tusk can easily kill him. If you get a good shards catch, he's not going anywhere. The other thing with LGD that's been kind of an interesting evolution is that Sylar used to be like a classic 4 protect 1 carry, but he's really made that transition into a lot of ways the 2 for the team. It's often more Maybe who's taking the majority of the lion's share of the farm. So the Gyro's nice because he doesn't really need as much health. Ooh. This is a puppy special. He was a sniper at Nanyang. He was hitting every single Ice Blast.
It's a rare AA pick with no obvious healing on the enemy team. We usually see it as a response to some sort of heal, whether it's self-heal like Alchemist or Doom.
It's just a very good
Dazzle.
support hero, I feel. Like, it has a lot of strength. You can do a lot of things with it. Obviously, going an aggressive tri-lane early on is one option, but more so the ultimate at any point in time is just one of the best support ultimates.
Killing Touch Focus Fire also hurts.
It's true. It does hurt.
It's pretty good.
Doesn't feel very nice.
I'm wondering if Secret are considering going for a Rubik here to deal with the offlane Clockwork, shut that down entirely, be able to... There's some pretty good spell steals here between Call Down and, of course, all of Tusk's spells are pretty much good for Rubik to steal. All 2. Oh, 3, actually. He can steal Sigil, too.
He's also really good with
Requiem.
AA because he lacks damage. AA gives that to him from Chilling Touch, so...
It's a pretty solid pick for Secret, but I'm...
Whenever call me old-fashioned, but whenever I see an AA being picked up, I just immediately, my mind goes to Spectre.
I mean, there's still the...
We still haven't seen one.
With Wind Ranger and Slardar already, I don't think they can fit a Spectre in here.
I mean, they need an EE hero.
Ember.
That's the Ember.
Yeah, I mean, that was the more obvious. And the one issue for LGD, they don't really have great catch for an Ember yet. They have one more support pick to go.
How is it Chilling Touch works with Sleight of Fist? Do you use 1 charge per target you hit in the Sleight? So you can actually precast it on him and he can hit like multiple heroes with Chilling Touch? That's pretty strong too.
The other big thing is he's a really good setup for the Ice Blast together with the Slardar. So they've got 3 heroes now that can get puppy kill opportunities.
This is a very strong safe lane for Secret, almost no matter what support they pick. It's difficult for Clockwork to go into this lane.
The way LGD have drafted, like, to me so far, it's all about the Tusk. Like, MMY is through the laning stage. He's the hero that can set up kills, can maybe shut down the Slardar off lane, can pressure mid and potentially go on the Wind Ranger. Clock's not going to be able to do much, like you pointed out, for the off lane, so...
I'm generally not a fan of Clockwork in this meta at all. I think we've had one game where I liked it, and that was the earlier today with Newbie Young picking it up in a very favorable matchup. This one, I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of the Clockwork, especially not with in a matchup up against Slardar and
Not
Wind
even
Ranger.
when Bulba played it?
No, I've been a fan of the Clockwork. I meant in this meta with Slardar, Wind Ranger.
Why do you hate American Dota?
Ooh, Disruptor was actually a very good ban.
Milk just gave me the dirtiest.
MMY plays an excellent Disruptor, and so does DDC actually. I think they both control the hero very well, and could have been a big problem for Ember to play against, so I think it's okay as a ban.
Okay, so what's the DDC support?
Lion comes to mind.
Definitely feels like they need more control for Ember.
I've been thinking Lion for the longest time as well. It's just...
Do you think they can get away with it in the lanes here? They do have the Gyro, so that's a pretty strong laning presence as far as the carry goes.
I mean, Secret's lanes are very obvious right now. I think Lion will have an easy time just pulling and keeping away the Slardar. I don't think they need to worry too much about witch support, and it is a Lion.
Good call.
It's a good pick here, I think. I was considering the option for LGD to actually go for a jungler if they wanted, because I didn't see Secret have any opportunity to contest it, but nobody plays it right now.
That's true, actually. It would be an interesting approach to the game.
So Pylai Dai, what will he play as support? Generally, he's on a pretty low farm priority compared to even other 5 positions. So, I mean, you mentioned the Bane, he's banned. Undying, also banned.
Winter Wyvern, Shadow Priest, also banned.
Most of his heroes are removed. The Bounty Hunter as well.
Lich isn't even banned.
I still think Rubik is good.
Dazzle.
Yeah, I think there's no other option than Rubik.
Yeah, what else would it be? Because they don't really have a setup support to go with the AA. Witch Doctor.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting draft from both teams. LGD and Team Secret are ready to rock and roll, and so are our commentary team. It's over to them for game 1.
Thank you, Red Eye. That's right. Of course, myself, Capitalist, going to be joined by Purge for this winner's matchup. I don't know, what do you think? Secret versus LGD, we heard their predictions. I want to know yours.
I like the Secret draft. I think going into it as well, I really felt like Secret was more likely to win the set. They looked a little shaky versus Newbie Young, but I attributed that a lot more to just Newbie Young being really good. I was really impressed by a lot of their players during those matches.
Yeah, for me, I think this is definitely going to be one of the closest matches going into this group stage because I think LGD have probably done their homework against Team Secret. There's a lot to be said about, yeah, Team Secret have been winning lands, but they're also the team that has been seen the most. And I think that both teams, I'm not seeing anything really special out of this draft. It just feels like both teams got kind of what is comfortable most for them. I mean, we have DDC line, we're talking about the ROT Clockwork, but you've also got Team Secret heroes, Eternal Envy on the Ember Spirit, we've got Weehaw on his infamous Wind Ranger, which all of China respects by now.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. It's I saw somebody tweet about it last night. They said it's really hard to analyze predictions and things for each team because every team plays so differently because there's so many heroes that are possible in the meta that it allows you for these diverse strategies that allow both teams to say, you know what, I think we have a pretty good setup in each team. So it definitely changes how the playstyle goes. You have to be able to decipher what the strengths in your opponent's teams are and then be able to shut that down. We saw it very good against Secret earlier, but I don't know if it'll stay that way for a while.
So what do you think the biggest strengths are here for LGD squad? I'm seeing a lot of potential early game team fighting power. Unfortunately, we're going to see their counter ward actually being taken out before they can get to the ops ward.
That's really nicely done. That's going to protect them a lot. Do they have another sentry there? No, it looks like it'll be somewhere else on the map. Sorry, what was the question you asked right before that?
LGD, what do you think the biggest strengths are for them going into this game 1?
Well, I really like the line pick. I think that's you need hard disables when you're dealing with heroes like Wind Ranger or Slar. If you're just dealing with slows, they can get away from that, but stunning them or hexing them while they're trying to wind run completely keeps them generally in position, and that's going to lead to better kills. So I think, and disables as well against Ember Spirit really works. So I think we're going to need to see DDC do very, very well this game, preferably an early blink, or just always be ready behind the right person when needed.
ROTK making sure to chase away the Eternal Envy Ember Spirit to allow maybe to pick up the bounty rune. Of course, Weehaw's going to get something similar here at the top area. We're going to see Team Secret running a defensive tri-lane most likely. ROTK is going to be facing up against them as kind of the solo off-lane Clockwork. MMY, infamous for a lot of different heroes, but lately it has definitely been his Tusk, and he goes boots first, so we're probably going to be seeing a lot of early roaming action from him. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we've got Sylar as the Gyrocopter paired up with DDC going up against the Slardar with that heavy amount of control from Lion and the, of course, insane amount of damage from Rocket Barrage. They can quite easily get a kill on Misery.
I think Misery is pretty set here, though. I mean, at least for now, he's got a Stout Shield. Lion only has 2 Tangos. Definitely very, very low in terms of regen. So if Misery fights him a lot, he can definitely get the upper trade advantage there and then be zoned a lot less.
Misery playing this pretty cautious, goes for the sprint level 1 and does manage to stay just ahead of DDC because of that choice. Does take a lot of damage from the Rocket Barrage to start with, but it's looking like the creep wave is going to push forward, which is a decent sign for him getting to that level 2. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, ROTK is actually taking a lot of damage as he throws out a Cogs and accidentally grabbed Eternal Envy inside of the Cogs.
That's the worst feeling, man. You're like, all right, gonna just do a little cog harass, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there goes 300 HP of my life.
Yeah, maybe he thought he was going to be able to get him close enough to be within tower range, or he had enough creeps to really threaten Eternal Envy. He did take a decent amount of damage, but with the support from the Witch Doctor, and made it a little tough for ROTK.
Yeah, any mana drain on a Ember Spirit this early is a huge advantage because his mana pool is not that big, and he is very mana based for him to be able to do damage. So any mana drain that Clockwork can put out could mean the difference in him surviving in the next minute or 2.
Which is why Eternal Envy, of course, has that early Mango to make sure that he will be able to get the Chains opportunity if a kill presents itself.
Yep, but when you add it all up, 2 cog pushes, that's equivalent to a Mango. You could work that out to be 150 gold worth of damage, economic damage done to the Ember Spirit.
Pielight sitting on the bounty rune. Probably be forced to get it. Misery is going to grab the illusion, meanwhile, in the top lane. Throws illusions towards the mid and see if he can't just keep some pressure and an eye on where MMI is going to rotate.
It's kind of interesting. He's not hiding himself too much. He's just strolling through the mid lane, going from lane to lane. I think it's because there's not always a support showing on the map, and maybe he's just looking to do something like that. Oh, he's going to put the sentry down. Okay, and he does get the observer ward that was placed by Puppies. This is going to make his roaming a lot easier. He can go from middle lane to bot lane a little more easily, especially around rune times is when it's really important. That way his opponents don't know that he's sitting there waiting.
That being said, with MMY being shown on the map, well, Misery actually, because he doesn't have boots, Sylar's able to keep up with that sprint and will be able to get a lot of rock barrage damage. And there it is, the first blood goes to Maybe as he picks up the kill on Weehaw thanks to the rotating MMY Tusk.
That's a pretty good kill there. Kills the ward, comes back mid, that's exactly what I was referring to, and then he just goes for the easy double raise and nothing he can do to stay alive there. So MMY's pressure is really helping out Maybe on the mid lane. Not that Maybe necessarily needs it. Definitely one of the best SF players in the world right now. And he even went like passive first. He didn't even say, I'm going to just rely on runes here. He's just got his passive, got tons of last hits, and he's going to be completely fine in his lane, at least until a gank comes.
And because of that successful gank, MMY is actually looking really good on experience with his roaming, being level 3.
Yeah, that's amazing, actually. When you go boots first, usually you get under-leveled quite a bit because you don't make anything happen, but he spent just enough time getting experience mid, a little bit of time top, and that kill there is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, they really put a decent amount of emphasis on him being able to get level 2, because obviously if you have that level 2, if you have both the snowball and the ice shards, the roaming Tusk has a lot more presence on the map.
That's a good point. It's something you don't see in pubs as much just because teams aren't as organized to think about other people on their team to sacrifice for someone else. But you can see it here. Really good teamwork there by LGD to prioritize that and allow them to get a kill.
Once again, Secret putting a lot of pressure and making sure they get the runes. Maybe he's going to try and challenge Pielight, but he will be met by Puppy, who's cold feet. Make sure that Maybe can't really move forward. But again, Team Secret rotating their supports to bottom lane and Misery up to top lane to make sure the runes are completely covered.
Very good for them. He's pretty high in HP right now, and there isn't a huge amount of threat coming out of Wind Ranger. So while it is a victory, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, especially because he does have 22 Necromastery right now. He's hitting like he has a double damage already at 4 minutes.
Both teams thinking about some early aggression. MMY picks up a smoke at the same time that Pielight does. So we'll see which one of these teams is able to use that smoke a bit more effectively. Checking in our offlaners, of course, Misery repeatedly being chased away by the gyrocopter is only left at level 2, despite the fact that a lot of times Tusk has been on map. Just the dual lane has been enough to keep him at bay. Meanwhile, our ROTK Clockwork with his cog blocking is able to do a bit more. Misery's going to be caught here inside the jungle. Nice stun and TP out. This will make sure. No, the Hex comes in just in time, barely in range, and Misery will go down 2-0 to the favor of LGD.
And that's just the threat of line. I like that they paired the gyro with the line. It's like one hero is very good at disables, the other one has tons of damage as a carry. So those two together are just so amazing at zoning Slar. This may be some of a solution towards keeping Slar out. You need a carry that's very, very damage heavy and very strong on movement speed as well to be able to punish him.
Yeah, the analyst said early on, even if we do have some sort of like early pressure coming in, it's very hard for a Slardar to play aggressively into a gyrocopter because you're activating sprint and you're going into rocket barrage, and that's so much damage. Misery's going to be caught. Yeah, LGD 2 times the charm. They're going to catch Misery once again now that Silence level 6. The two supports rotate around behind the tower and get that kill. Meanwhile, Team Secret, they have a similar smoke here, but their plan is to stop the true carry.
Oh, they're going to get broken on MMY though.
Oh no, that is really bad, but Eternal Envy's still going to be able to catch up to Maybe. Maybe they didn't actually expect Eternal Envy to be making that rotation CDEC style. Tusk is still going to go for Pielight dive, but I think he was hoping to be able to grab.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has
on
fallen.
his team.
Misery attempted to go for the deny there in the top lane. Doesn't quite work out for him. And the last hit is taken by the Lion, actually. Because they're rotating around the Ember Spirit, trying to play aggressively with him, Puppey is getting a lot of free time in this bottom lane. And this is pretty essential, right? If that smoke had been the two supports, never would have worked out. They get the kill on the Slardar, but we also have Secret running into the jungle here. Head on into Maybe. We has a stack here, but he's also got MMY behind him trying to help him out, but the damage is just way too much from the Ember Spirit. Maybe will be taken out as the power shot comes through from Weehaw, securing that one. Now the question is, what's going to happen to the stack? Secret are going to try and take it, but LGD are swarming in to defend. DDC from one side, even from the river. We have the gyrocopter. They've taken the rest of the stack, but are they going to be able to get out in time? Sylar is here now, doesn't have quite enough mana. DDC's locked in by the shackle shot, but MMY is here to defend. Pops a snowball and will go straight onto Weehaw. ROTK doesn't actually have enough mana for the cogs. Meanwhile, gyrocopter's taking out Pylai Die. Weehaw being surrounded by 3 different heroes, even without abilities. It just doesn't seem to matter. They get the kill anyway and punishes Secret for taking away their stack. But was it worth it in the end?
The first initial fight was great, but they stuck around to kill those 2 large creeps. They should have just left, because if they kill those, the camp respawns and gives you about as much experience and gold as it would anyways. But because they stuck around to kill those 2 large ones, you know, they got engaged upon. They didn't retreat together. They got caught together, and because of that, Pylai Die tried to run away. He got found by the solo gyro, and the other 2 cores got whittled down. They needed to immediately just ditch. Getting the hero kills and getting enough of that stack as it was plenty. So I think they got just a little overeager there.
Well, the next couple of fights are going to be all the more dangerous with Puppey now having that Ice Blast ready to go, and he also has that Cold Feet. It was funny, the analysts were talking about in the draft how you look at the Ancient Apparition, he's being picked up against a team that doesn't traditionally have too much shield. Obviously, it's likely that we would see a mech or something out in an SF, but it's not a guarantee, and there's no other heroes with natural regen. It almost feels like some of the other abilities from the Ancient Apparition are going to be quite powerful here, like the Cold Feet.
Yeah, I think Cold Feet's pretty much always good right now as well. The cast range is so long, he can sit far back and put it on whoever Slar initiates on, or whoever gets Syrian Chains, because later on that's going to be lasting for 3 seconds. That's usually going to be enough time for Cold Feet to proc, and a lot of players just don't see it coming either. It's not a very visually obvious skill, and it can mean the difference in a team fight if you don't pay attention.
Oh, they're going to catch Sylar. LGD just rotated their 2 supports away from that. Quick kill for Eternal Envy and Puppey, and doesn't look like ROTK. Well, he's not even level 6, so there's no way they can go for a somehow gank at this bottom lane. MMY's smoke is going to be popped, and he'll start making his way outside of this jungle.
That's Ancient Apparition, man. You only need level 6 and a couple Cold Feet levels, and you're actually putting out more like 400 magic damage before you accelerate it with the Ice Vortex. He's actually a very strong hero. You just need at least 1 hero to set up.
And he's got the Hand of Midas, so we're going to be looking at hopefully a pretty fast Aghanim Scepter.
That's so early. 10 minutes? That's amazing for a support hero. And he actually diverted his skill build slightly this game. In every other game I've seen Puppey play this, he maxes out, or he goes 3 points of Cold Feet into a max Ice Vortex. But he's all about the stun this game, and I think it's because they just have so many reliable disables.
Yeah, you've got the chains you're talking about, the Slardar stun, Witch Doctor Cask, and even the Shackle Shot, all sort of guarantees for a Cold Feet successful launch. Ice Blast heads up to the top lane, doesn't actually catch DDC. But this is all due to the fact that this is something that Team Secret, they've actually addressed this as kind of a style now, is that they're willing to move Eternal Envy around a little bit more, whether it's making sure that one of their supports gets a decent amount of farm, or Misery gets a good matchup. Weehaw in the middle lane is going to be jumped on by ROTK. He will quickly burst through the cogs, and it looks like he will get away to safety, as LGD weren't able to provide enough burst damage in time to kill him.
That's really nicely done. I think the main reason that worked, though, is because Windranger's attack point is so low that the battery assault very rarely will interrupt your attack animation. So instantly, he gets the 2 hits on the cog, and he's able to escape there. So really quick thinking by Weehaw. He was completely ready for that, and it really just makes ROTK useless for the next minute.
Yeah, ROTK probably just going to have to head on back to base. Looks like he's going to be going the Blade Mail route.
Under attack.
Pretty standard. Very good against Ember Spirit as well. If he turns on his Flame Guard, you're instantly reflecting damage, and you can't really do anything to stop that other than run. So I think that's a really good choice. LGD grouping up to pressure the bot lane. This is why Sylar was here before, but I like what Puppey is doing. Even though they might not hard commit here.
Oh, the Sylar, he could be potentially saved by DDC. Managed to get the Hex down, stuns up Eternal Envy. The Snowball's going to come in as well, and they take him out. Misery now is going to surge on forward with that sprint, but he realizes he's all alone and nothing he can do to avenge his ally's death.
He could have solo killed him definitely there, and he probably just thought, wow, this guy's being an idiot. He's off lane again, solo, and now he's going to die.
Misery.
But it didn't happen.
Almost getting caught out as DDC rotates around from the side. MMY doesn't have enough for the snowball. and won't try and catch Slardar.
So LGD's in a pretty good position at this point. They finally got the pressure in the off lane. They killed the enemy carry. The tower's still very high HP though, and they can't really stay here with 3 because it's going to be very obvious to Secret. So they pretty much have to just go back into a gank, maybe shift to the mid lane, get a kill there, get a kill in the jungle, and then continue to pressure bottom. So Secret's pretty happy with their positioning right now. They can set up kills globally with AA ulti. They can set up kills with Slardar moving around. I feel like they have a lot more gank options than LGD does right now, as well as their cores being harder to gank.
Yeah, it feels like they have a lot more skirmish power where they can win these like 2v2s, 3v3s, while LGD are more likely to win the full-on 5-man team fights. But what do you think that means for LGD? Are they going to be grouping up relatively early on, or do you think this is just sit back, continue to farm, because you do have both a gyrocopter and an SF who are going to need this distinct amount of farm before they go into the mid game?
I mean, a little period of farming wouldn't be awful for them because getting a blink online would be great, but he did divert and he went for a tranquil boots as well as a magic wand, an illusion, confusing them a bit here, and that's going to reveal that they're down here. So if they do some passive farming, I would say take brown boots line, go straight for the blink, get a fast blink, and then you start ganking in 5-man lot. But because they diverted slightly, they kind of have to force ganks or team fights, and because they don't have that blink now, it's either up to snowball fight or a hook shot. That's the only way they're going to be able to do team fights. And they're not quite setting those up. ROTK is back on the top lane now, getting last hits. He should be the one that's on the bot lane with the Lion and the Shadow Fiend looking for an initiation. That would be a lot more useful. If he's just up here, like, yeah, he'll get a blade mail, but a blade mail is not going to make clockwork invincible or much stronger this game.
Pilot Eye quick to TP out before Sylar could catch him there, but they'll just take control of this tier 1 tower and go for it. Secret are very likely to do something similar here in the top lane, but the difference is that Weehaw is actually pushing out the middle lane in the meantime, so Secret are getting kind of the better of this movement around the map, at least so far anyway.
Yeah, I really love what Puppy's doing this game. As soon as somebody comes the off lane, shoots the Ice Blast, and maybe if it doesn't kill them, it at least put the carry, like either SF or Gyro, at a HP position where they know that they would die to the next burst. So he's basically counter-pushing the area that they don't feel safe sitting. I mean, how many times do you see people pressure off lane? Look at this game. Both teams pressuring each team's safe lane. So it's very strong to do this, so it's a lot safer for Secret just to sit back, spam it with the Ice Blast, and that tower went down a whole 4 minutes later than LGD wanted it to.
Misery is hoping to be able to claim the bounty on this tier 1 tower. That'll get him a lot closer to his Blink Dagger. And he does indeed take it, so only another 700 gold or so. Meanwhile, we have a Shadow Blade being built by Maybe. Talking about aggressive builds, I mean, LGD, they're a team, one of the Chinese teams that's known for being, I would say, the most aggressive. And you're looking at these item builds like the Phase Boots, the Drum of Endurance, and Ring of Aquila. That's early aggression build down from the Gyrocopter. You've got the Shadow Blade now from Maybe. This is all looking at just early pickoffs, early team fights, 15 to 25 minutes.
DDC getting spotted by the Invis Weehaw here. Oh, he's so dead.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do about that one. Unfortunately, that's just a bit of rune luck that goes the way of Team Secret. And they're going to try and search for it and see if they can't get something else out of it, but maybe.
And the Shadow Blade was used.
Yeah, and they'll probably see that now.
Yeah, so like we said, they want to do 5-mans. They were set up for it, but because they happened to spot out the line, the whole thing's over for another 13 seconds or so. That's assuming that they choose to bring everybody back mid again. So they're still in this place where they're getting found in jungle, and now Sylar in trouble.
Yeah, they have the ultimate going out. Eternal Levy knows he needs to start backing out as his Flame Guard's about to go down, but it's a missile that's going to catch Misery, and this is the other big success of Gyrocopter versus a Slardar. Eternal Levy's still going to go for that kill on a Sylar, but getting knocked up the air, but the Walrus Punch, he doesn't really have a way out of this one. Bounces back and forth between his remnants, but eventually lands in his grave. 4-9 now as LGD take more and more of a slight little lead over Team Secret after that bit of a mistake. But
that's the most useful slow on a Walrus Punch I've ever seen before. How often does that actually matter at all? But it did matter a lot there. The Remnant comes out very slow if your hero is slowed. So the ultimate from Shadow Fiend as well as the Walrus Punch there basically meant that Envy was not getting away, and he does end up dying for that. So they're kind of just going to lanes, passively farming, saying, oh, there's a hero here, let's try for it. And I feel like they should organize a little better. Maybe do smoke ganks, 2 or 3 man, move through, let Misery farm his Blink Dagger, or they can just do this passive thing until he does get his blink, and then they can do organized things.
All right, let's see LGD go all out now, because you finally got that Blade Mail on ROTK. They've got to make use of some of these early items that they picked up. Let Sylar go ahead and farm out that BKB. I'm all with that, but ROTK and MMY, they are probably going to go hunting. just like they usually do on LGD.
This Ancient Apparition has 61 CS. If you just look at his stats right now, you're like, yeah, this is a mid-hero, definitely. Totally a mid-hero. And he's picked up a Staff of Wizardry, probably going to be a fast force staff to protect himself and others from Clockwork, most likely. Could push somebody out of a cogs. That'll be really useful.
Yeah, with the change-up of Cold Feet, as well as the slow buffs to Ice Vortex over multiple patches, it seems like teams are really reading this Ancient Apparition as more than just his Ice Blast and actually trying to get him involved in these team fights. And that's where you kind of see these force staff builds. And obviously that's going to be critically important against a hero like Clockwork.
Yeah, he's definitely a lot better now. Just the Cold Feet buff alone is like, wait, I can justify getting Disables and Ice Vortex. And then you say, well, I've got all these cool synergy things to get Chilling Touches. Well, he might as well get all of his skills. It's a great game for it.
So he's going to have force staff pretty damn quickly.
Wow, he actually is pretty much there.
Maybe trying to go for the ult here. But he is spotted out by the counter ward, and Misery's just kind of playing a game with him now.
If Misery dies right now, it'd be really awful. He's only about 100 away from the blink.
Yeah, so
and
Misery,
they're going for it.
They have the amplified damage, but they may not realize MMY is going to sit on the side here. He throws out the snowball. The ultimate actually gets laid out, and that was definitely not the play for LGD. Lose an SF ultimate in a little bit of time. RTK actually whiffs his hook shot trying to grab Weehaw, but he's just moving a bit too fast with that haste.
Yeah, that was great for Secret. LGD forced out Requiem. All they wasted basically was Envy TPing over with Boots of Travel, which is just a little bit of time. Not terrible. So they're going to be pretty happy with that one. That's going to be Blink Dagger now on Slardar, and now's where the action starts. He already picks up the smoke. The gank is pretty much anybody, but more likely I would do Wind Ranger plus Slardar or Slardar plus A. Those are the two ganks that they're going to be looking to do. They might even bring the Witch Shock. That works great as well. Death Ward obviously synergizing very, very well with amplified damage since it does do physical.
They're going to bring more numbers? No, Eternal Envy's going to go back with the Boots of Travels. And just as you said, very likely that Slardar and Wind Ranger going to be the ones searching for a kill here. But this is awkward. They're checking inside the Roshan pit, but they've lost their kind of high ground. If they go back up and run into maybe the Envious Rune, Eternal Envy, he's going to be the first one seen. Misery does get the two-man stun, but the rest of Secret are coming in. The Cat's going to be good setup with the ultimate.
The damage.
Playing into DDC, they might be able to finish up this whole entire fight just via that. The Cogs pushes them back, but it's still LGD managed to finish off the Eternal Envy Ember Spirit, but they're almost getting caught. Misery can't quite get that stun, and he's going to be a bit threatened. Eats the mango, tries to go for the kill, but MMY comes in from the side, kills the Slardar, but maybe still gets taken out by Puppy and Weehaw, and MMY, he's the last one left alive for LGD, and I don't think he'll be alive much longer. He doesn't have the ice shards to block him out. Well, he does in a second. He's actually got Magic Wand.
Fine, unless the shackle.
Oh, the shackle's on Linz! Weehaw gets that one, and it ends up being a wipe here as this snowball is just going to spell the doom of MMY.
What a fight, man. That's Slardar right there, man. You initiate, you stun multiple heroes, and you do the AA blast, and he got a great shot. Oh, the hook!
Nice! RTK locks in Weehaw. Weehaw is going to try and eat through the cogs, but the force staff kind of keeps RTK in play, so I don't think that was really intended there from Puppy, but still, RTK doesn't manage to get the kill on Weehaw. Now he's going to be caught for his overly aggressive plays, was just trying to get anything he could to help make up for that bad team fight, but he just feeds more gold to Team Secret now.
Man, they're just synergizing really well in these team fights. Everything just, their picks are great. The Witch Doctor completely working out, while a Rubik would have completely protected them against the clock. Turns out the best protection against clock is clock not hook-shotting anybody. So they didn't really need the Rubik after all. Witch Doctor's working completely fine, and he's giving out way more damage than a Rubik would have.
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate also that LGD ended up running into the Ember Spirit first, such a mobile hero. They couldn't really get that quick kill. Yeah. And Misery, just a beautiful response as a Slardar. So Secret are looking very good now after that team fight. That was roughly a 2,500 gold swing overall and about 3,000 experience.
Puppy's so rich that he bought his mid player a gem. And it still looks like he's rich.
Wow.
That's great. Really good for him. Level 11 as well, so he's very close to getting Chilling Touch levels. I assume he'll go for those rather than some stat points, just because Chilling Touch does synergize so well this game. Especially with the Ags now up on Wind Ranger, the extra bonus damage that you get from Chilling Touch isn't reduced anymore. So we're talking level 5 Chilling, or yeah, level 4 Chilling Touch is doing something like 400 extra magic damage in a short amount of time.
Yeah, not going to affect the Wind Ranger's attack speed at all. And then you've got the Ember Spirit as well, who doesn't really care too much about the slower attack speed either, so it's just this free buff.
It's really good this game. Doesn't synergize with Slar, I guess, but it's great to have both physical damage and magic damage, because then it's a lot harder for your opponents to build against it. They can't just buy a BKB. you know, because then amp damage still goes through it.
Let's be real. He doesn't have bash yet anyway. Who needs to right-click his Lardar?
I don't blame
Just
him,
crush
man.
and crush and crush.
I do not believe in the bash. It's 10%. It's such a low chance. It's like, get your sprint up, and they're looking to fight here.
Yeah, they're going to find RTK. Their smoke pops. They think that it's either an Invis SF, or now they see RTK.
Okay.
Get the free stun onto him right away. The Ice Blast will make sure that RTK does go down. In fact, it's Pylite Die who actually takes that kill. And we may be seeing potential like Glimmer Cape or something like that for him coming in soon, as he's got 1,200 gold in the bank.
Yeah, Secret's pretty much controlling the game very, very hard right now. While the Gyro does have a lot of farm, it looks like he may have BKB. Yep, there's the BKB up for him. There's just so many dangerous things and so many stuns as well. They could easily initiate with a crush, stun him before the BKB comes out, and then just burst him down in 2 seconds with all this magic burst they have, the AA, the BKB. While it makes him look so strong, it's only if he gets it off. So these fights completely come down to initiation.
Yeah, and even if he does manage to get out the BKB relatively early,
top.
there's still the focus fire. Oh, the SF lets loose that ultimate. Eternal Envy still looking all right, gets the Sleight of Fist, and will be able to jump away. So that was just not the damage, enough damage coming out from Maybe that he expected.
Maybe if he was right on top of him, that might have killed, but 500 magic absorb is amazing.
Oh no, and now he doesn't have an ultimate to protect himself against Misery, so he just has to turn and fight, but a shackle shot will stop even those right clicks, and Maybe will go down to Weehaw.
That's that mobility advantage of Slardar. Very quickly cross the entire map and set up to defend. So Puppy getting a missile mid, and mid tower's possibly going to be defended. Nope. Does get killed. Nice play by Gyro there.
Let's see, what do we have coming in? Just a little bit more wards for MMY, who's only got Tranks and the Urn so far. Our SF being shut down a bit, still doesn't have that BKB. In part 2 to that last death. DDC is trying to finish up a Blink Dagger, and that'll be coming in rather soon if he could just get the space to farm up 1 or 2 more waves.
And Wind Ranger getting ready for his next item. He's only at about 1,700, but even picking up something simple like Crystallis is going to really amp up his damage a bit.
Yeah, the physical damage, like, I love Wind Ranger versus Gyrocopter just because I feel like Gyrocopter's so dependent on that BKB, and Wind Ranger brings forth an early amount of physical damage, single target, so it's just like, even if he does get out the BKB, if he's hit by the Ice Blast and he's focus fired down by the Wind Ranger, he could still pop relatively quickly.
Yeah, and most of his abilities are pretty short range, including his attack range, so there's just so many advantages that Wind Ranger has over a Gyrocopter once she tanks up enough to survive the magic nukes. Maybe again fishing for a kill, but he doesn't have his ulti for 10, and A is going to spot him, actually. They see him.
Is Misery going to keep going? Doesn't look like it. They're perhaps a little bit scared. They actually don't see many of the heroes of LGD. I don't think their set of wards in the secret shop has spotted anything lately, so...
There is a Blink Dagger up on DDC here on for Lion. I think that's something that could really give them a big advantage, especially if they coordinate some ganks. But their major issue is they don't have a lot of burst this game. It's Shadow Fiend ult, some raises, I guess. Gyro damage is pretty good, but they need to combo Lion with one of those big nukers, and they need to find a secret hero by themselves. That's the only way they're getting kills right now, because Secret's combos are so good that they can just move around the map in pairs, like we said before, find kills themselves. So LGD has to do the response. I don't think they can just do the straight 5-man, because I really don't think they're going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, Secret at this point in time, they have such an advantage with this Ancient Apparition free farming away for so long. He's now actually got a Ghost Scepter.
Yep.
So, still delaying that Aghanim Scepter.
Kind of a weird item to build, but it will protect him against Flat Cannon. Envy in trouble.
Yeah, with the long hexes coming out from Lion, it looks like they will be able to pop Eternal Envy, so finally purge. That's what you were saying. They needed to couple the Lion with some extra burst damage and find that critical key hero.
And that actually took 3 heroes because of their position in the game. It was a lot. Envy doesn't even have any survivability items yet. Unfortunately for him, he was fractions away from finishing his Battle Fury. Sitting at about 1,000 gold now. I guarantee he lost some of his gold there right before the Claymore, so he's going to be a little sad about that, but nothing to fret for Secret fans right now. They are still way ahead.
Yeah, they've got this nice big Ancient stack that as soon as the Battle Fury is online for the Ember Spirit, he'll clear through that pretty damn quickly.
Unless Gyro gets there first. It's one way the LGD could have a little bit of a comeback. Look at... Oh, they had a ward there. I was like, did he just predict that they were going to be doing Ancients? No, they actually had a ward that time. DD as well and Weehaw, so if a fight happens in the next 2 minutes or so, it could be really scary for LGD. Any of these heroes could just pretty much instantly die.
What about, forget about heroes, what about the
off.
big man, Roshan? DDC, nice blink out.
Huh. They were really leading him off there.
But yeah, going back to it, the Team Secret have a great Roche taking lineup. Okay, RTK.
Yeah. Wait, what?
The shackle shot lands. He's got a
Okay.
DD on Wind Ranger, and the Clockwork just disappears like Houdini.
Yeah. Nice. I bet it was like 4 shots or something like that, right? Absolutely nothing. DD helps a lot in this case.
Mm-hmm.
MMY Sin mid. He's gone Blink with Tranquil Boots. Okay, he's gone on Puppy.
Oh, he's got the snowball, but
Here comes the Crush.
this really isn't going to protect him for long.
Okay, just the amp damage and the focus fire. Another kill for Weehaw here. And
Misery going to look for more here. Blinks in, managed to get Sylar. They also have the Ice Blast still coming in, and that is going to nail him unless Sylar turns and dodges it. Pops a BKB, now pops his ultimate as well. Team Secret just playing a distance game. Pylite die. Well, he throws out the Death Ward, but SF coming in from behind takes advantage of that poor Witch Doctor. So 1-for-1 trade-off. Both supports going down on either side, but Team Secret still feel confident, it looks like, to push forward.
it's pretty good for LGD considering their position, but that was a 10-second BKB, and that's an item that he's going to need all game due to shackle shots. Anytime a shackle lands, you will get chain stun, you will see Puppy throw out the cold feet. At that point, you're going to get a follow-up stun, and you're pretty much dead at that point. Puppy now up to 1,400 gold. What does he build next? This is basically the most luxury of luxury items. If you get a Force and a Ghost Scepter on A, you're having a great time. Yeah, an Eggs is great, but just these first couple survivability items are really all you need to be happy. So the sky's the limit. Hex, Blink Dagger, probably an Eggs. I'm not sure.
What about the combat build of Ancient Apparition? Like, he takes it one step further and gets like a Yule Scepter for himself, and he's just like, now I set up my own stun.
I kind of like that for anti-Tusk as well. If Tusk snowballs against you, then you can just Yules yourself. But I think even something like a Rod of Atos is really good. That way he can set up his own cold feats, and he gives himself a stupid amount of survivability in the same vein. So I think that would help a lot. When they have their BKBs up, obviously it's not useful, but when they end, you could see a ton of kiting going on for Secret.
Misery sitting invis right now on top of ROTK, but once he sees a glimpse of MMY, knows the rest of LGD are nearby, he blinks himself out. Team Secret just very happy with the space that they're getting right now, as they've always been.
Nothing new for Pylai Die, just the Staff of Wizardry. Most likely will be a Force for him. Would have kind of liked to see an Eggs, but it's not really a necessary build anymore. The damage for level 2 Death Ward, for example,
Secret.
it's pretty good.
They smoke up just at the perfect time. The rocket goes past the Roshan pit. Once that's gone, they know they can take Roshan before the next rocket is in. Between Amplify damage and Focus Fire, it's really easy for Team Secret to do Rosh.
Goodbye, Roshan. Aegis going to... It's going to be Weehaw.
So he'll give a bottle to somebody. Oh, hookshot actually coming in for RTK. He's leading in for the rest of his team. Force Staff does help out Weehaw, and they will get another Force Staff in, putting him up on the cliff. He's locked in by the shackle shot. Managed to lock down, baby, with a Death Ward over the top. Baby's going to be just deleted by that one. The Cats still bouncing around, causing havoc for LGD as they try and retreat, and it's Eternal Envy who wants to be able to catch more. Weehaw leading in with his win run, but won't be able to catch anybody else. Still, though, 15-13, and Secret, not only do they get Roshan, but they get that kill on Maybe. Critical, perhaps, for Secret now to be able to take even more control of the map.
Did you see that shackle?
It was insane.
That was BS. It was like angled. But great defense, though. Super fast Force Staff reaction out of Puppy that kept him from getting caught in the cogs, and his other ally forced him to the high ground, and all of a sudden that great initiation by LGD ended up being not good enough in any way, and they lost a core for it. Great fight there by Secret. We're going to see Misery get caught by 2 heroes. Great Hex from DDC.
Jump, little frog, jump!
Wow, that damage.
Yeah, that's Sprint amplifying the Finger of Death level 2. Just almost,
Oh, they might get Puppy as well. They saw him.
Ice shards? Oh, just barely bumps him out. RTK does have a hook shot ready to go. Actually pops the blade mill as right as Weehaw goes for the focus fire. Is trying to force things even further, but is now going to lose that blade mill. Nice snowball save. It's still going to roll right on through. Puppy looks like Puppy's going to be going down. Weehaw turns around to go for the RTK kill. Can't quite commit. And doesn't have the mana to be able to throw out a power shot to finish him off. So MMY beautifully saving ROTK and incidentally helps get the kill on Puppy in the process.
I mean, Secret has such good synergy this game. This is really the only reason why we're pointing out their advantage. But LGD's keeping it about even. The kills are even. The gold is even. Gyro continues to get items. Is he building a Manta style? I think he kind of has to, actually. It's kind of gross. This is an item that Gyros were building a lot when Gyro first came on the scene. And then everybody realized, hey, man, your illusions suck. Why are you building a Manta style? It's not about your illusions. It's about you getting an SNY and you being strong. The only reason he's building this is because it allows him to remove searing chains and amplify damage, and it also gives him more things that the cast can bounce to, which is not all bad to have. So I think it's actually a decent Manta game, but it's more of a negative. It's something that he has to do in response to a Slardar being in the game. Another reason why Slardar is one of the best heroes right now.
Yeah, completely agree. It's one of those scenarios that if you pop the BKB and you get amp damage afterwards and focus fired, you doesn't even matter. RTK caught once again. These aggressive wards from Team Secret are doing so much work for Weehaw, being able to find those blink shackles time and time again.
This is going to happen all game. People will continue to get shackled and killed. And Weehaw's not slowing down anytime. Might blink aggressively. They found where the invis here was. Oh, he broke it!
Oh, Siler, he's going to be caught. Weehaw at the gem anyways. So Siler, he now pops BKB as well as Manta trying to get away, but that's just going to be a loss of yet another BKB charge. Meanwhile, in the top lane, they do get the Ancient Apparition, but still, Gyrocopter going down is all the more important.
He did nothing to that. He just died. I mean, I know that was 3 heroes, but it was still incredible how rapidly he went down.
Team
Got
Secret
completely blown up.
will now take the trade-off. Maybe also going for the Manta, so this is apparently the play against Lardar's. DDC jumps in on Eternal Envy. Whoa, Force Staff is going to help out. Nice Pylite dice. Potential save for Eternal Envy. He gets off the Sleight of Fist and will jump back. And now the Death Ward, well, that'll take out the Lion. Pylite die will be surrounded by Shadow Fiend. Golden Shadow Fiend and some illusions. He will go down to that one. A 2-for-2 trade-off.
Now, Shadow Fiend Manta's a lot better. I believe they recently added so the Manta illusions get the souls. Am I right about that? I'm pretty sure they recently changed that for SF. Generally, it's still not worth it to grab the Manta, but it's, again, pretty good in that case. He's taking Death Ward damage, Manta split off, let that damage go somewhere else.
Right. Secret rotating through their secret shop. MMY's up here. Does have 2K on him. Is it ever worth, like, if MMY actually gets enough farm, do you think he ever considers going for, like, the mech Guardian Greaves, or you think it's just, you know what, there's an Ancient Apparition in the game, never go the healing item? Oh, God!
I think healing item is not terrible, especially because if you buy a mech, at the very least, you're giving yourself armor. So it might not even heal your team, but you are applying a bit of armor to everybody, and it's going to heal somebody, especially the way that AA is playing this game. It's a battle AA. It's not a sit in the back and ice blast at the radius of the other half of the map, you know? Not everybody's going to have the debuff, so I feel like in some cases the mech will be useful. Or if somebody gets initiated on, as soon as they take 250 damage, you can pop mech. You don't have to wait till they're low, you know? So sometimes the damage will come. The Ice Blast will be flying in, boom, mech them. Ice Blast hits, mech got value. So I think it's definitely something you can build, but the thing LGD might be missing more so is damage. So MMY has to decide, do I want to go for a mech? Do I want to go for damage? And he got a Force Staff, so utility is a good idea.
Yeah, obviously this item build is going to be more for the late game because for now, it's going to be the Blink Dagger and Force Staff mobility being pretty key in this match, as we're seeing Team Secret really making a good amount of use of those double Force Staffs from Pylite Eye as well as Puppy multiple times, saving allies trying to be targeted. The bottom tier 2 is going to be threatened by LGD, but they've already lost their top tier 2 in return. It looks like Team Secret are just going to keep on going for the tier 3, forcing LGD to TP back.
The Daedalus is up on Envy. No Daedalus yet for Weehaw here. They'll back up a little bit. What do you think the Gyro should build to deal with Slardar? Obviously, Manta's one solution. Do you grab an armor item? Do you just go for evasion with something like a butterfly?
Yeah, it's probably the butterfly, right? If you see Weehaw commit for the full Daedalus, now that's the thing, right? A lot of Wind Rangers, they'll sometimes hold on to just a Crystallis, and if they see you building butterfly, they'll then get MKB rather than complete the Daedalus. But
Courier's going to Secret Shop, and it is the Daedalus. So I think you're right. Butterfly is going to be the option, especially because Slardar's never going to make an MKB, right? And he's actually a decent damage source. Fight going on the bot lane.
Yeah, chasing around. Ember Spirit will be able to get away and maybe just TP's out with his BKB. Meanwhile, Team Secret, they're actually pushing up top lane. Pylite die. This is exactly true to form for him. He's creating space. Right, like he's pushing out the top lane. He knows he's very likely to be ganked, but if they don't stop him, he's going to push the creep wave all the way to the tier 3, and he's going to get farmed going towards his Aghanim Scepter. And if they do stop him, it's just a support.
It's not, it's completely fine to do. It also uses the line ultimate. These two heroes aren't TPing down to gank Eternal Envy, for example. So while it may seem like he's actually accomplishing nothing, it's a tactical decision. Can I guarantee that Weehaw and Envy farm for an extra 40 seconds while getting some farm myself and maybe dying? I think that's all right, especially when his net worth is pretty far down there. Part of the gold that you get is based on how much net worth your opponent that you kill has in relation to the rest of their team. And since he is so low, it's a cost-benefit analysis. I'd rather them gank me than set up a gank and maybe be successful on Windranger or Eternal Envy.
Now, Misery's got 2,800. The typical build is AC after you get Blink Dagger and Force Staff. You think there's anything
On
else you
Slardar?
would consider?
As a support or as an offlane, I feel like BKB is usually
true.
it's like alt. You either get Force or you get BKB. In a lot of cases, most offlane Stardars will get Force first, but some games I think a BKB is good. And this is a game where third item BKB is definitely where you should go. Just because Tusk, Lion, Clockwork, even if he ever gets caught with Clock, yeah, Force will save him. But what if he just BKBs and kills him back or something? I feel like BKB is a great option here for Slar in almost all games. And Windranger or Ember could, in some ways, I guess they won't need AC. I guess it's all right to AC. They're far enough ahead.
Yeah,
He
they
doesn't
could.
need to
I'm
solo
with you
carry.
still on the BKB just because SF and Gyrocopter are such hybrid cores in that they're able to put out a decent amount of physical damage, but they're still very relevant with their magic damage as well.
Yeah.
So I'd be down with the BKB first and then AC following that up.
I think on the side of LGD though, either the SF or the Gyro could definitely justify getting an AC, just because of the raw raw armor that it gives you, which will directly counter the Slar amp damage. But
yeah, we were talking about it earlier, right? The AC is a pretty good pickup versus Ember Spirits a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then there's more incentive when you've got a Slardar and you need that big buff of armor to counteract the amp.
it can definitely help, but then it puts you in this weird place where, fight on DDC.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to be picked off right away. Sylar will be able to get away, and that's the more important one. But they've taken away the line for 60 seconds, and Secret are probably hoping that Roshan's up and they can take this with the 4 versus 5 advantage. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to be up for another minute and a half.
This gem has just helped so much. There's really not very many safe places for LGD to put wards. The only one that's still up right now is a ward that's not useless or not useful in the slightest right now because nobody is over there. So really tough game for LGD now. They don't know where to hide. They don't know where to stand, and it's caused them a lot of problems.
Now, we're seeing all this control from Team Secret. I feel like we need to re-emphasize the fact that this game is still very, very close. LGD, there's never been larger than a 4K lead, and that's what it's at right now for Team Secret. But LGD are still getting plenty of farm themselves, even if Secret are controlling the map a lot better.
Yeah, the gold is close, but I just see the synergies and things like that, and the map control that Secret's had all game and how farm their supports are. They don't really need any more items. Lion would love to have a Force Staff. Tusk would love to have maybe a damage item or a Solar Crest, but they're missing a lot of these core things. All of the farm is basically on Gyro and Shadow Fiend, and nobody is even close to those two guys. And because Shadow Fiend and Gyro are so easily countered by a Shackle Shot Focus Fire or an amp damage right click, the game could just go, the teamfights could very easily just go awful for LGD depending on the initiation, and that is why I think Secret is far ahead.
Which is why LGD may need to find the initiation first. They're actually grouping up here in this bottom lane area. But Team Secret are smoked around Eternal Envy and trying to bait him out. Maybe he's going to start leading the way with the Shadow Blade. They're going to start going on into Eternal Envy. Maybe now reveals himself with the BKB, but the initiation for Misery is on point with a 2-man stun. RTK locks in Weehaw. The ultimate goes out from Maybe, damaging him even further and bringing some of that damage reduction in. The Pylon Die will be chased down by the rest of the heroes while Misery was unable to complete a kill on anyone from the side of LGD. So ultimately, the defense is strong for LGD. Good response to Team Secret's smoke.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get initiated first, I guess. A lot of creeps there. Puppy as well.
I'm not sure what this is all about, but the Shackle Shot completely misses as the Snowball sucks that right in. And now it's Weehaw and Eternal Envy on the rapid retreat. Blink away from Eternal Envy and TP out there.
That was just a great DDC play right there. Do you remember that ward that got dewarded there? Secret thought, we're safe. They don't have an observer ward over here. As they passed over to set up the gank, DDC placed an observer ward there, and it allowed them to get that follow-up kill, and no shenanigans were going to happen in the opposite way. So that was a really nice play there by DDC, and as well, great initiation led into them not being able to initiate properly. Secret was scared to go in, basically. Windranger could have gone for a Blink Shackle, but when you get that hard engaged on, and when Starter just dies for almost nothing, then it's really scary. And you'd rather hold the gem back and take your losses and come back in the next fight.
Now, because of this fight going very poorly for Team Secret, and it's right next to the Roshan pit, it's very clearly a free Rosh for LGD. Question is whether or not they're actually going to be able to utilize this Aegis to gain some objectives, because we've seen Team Secret controlling the map most of the time, not really letting LGD most of the time get the kind of fights they want. But this is going to be a perfect pick-off to start things off.
The ward.
Caught once again.
It did something.
It really did.
Great little gank there for LGD, and yeah, it's looking.
It's the last 30 seconds of that ward too.
Yeah, they're doing really well now. They've got perfect items for what they're up against. The Butterfly's up on the Shadow Fiend, and there's no MKB on either Ember Spirit or Wind Ranger, so he's not the easiest hero to focus. If he just plays really aggressive now with the Aegis, and Secret is forced to go on him, it puts Secret in a really bad team fight. The only way Secret's going to win the next fight is if they kill Gyro first. He went MKB, he's got a BKB. The MKB obviously helps him kill Wind Ranger, but it doesn't help him survive. So Gyro is easily the target that Secret needs to go on in the next fight.
Right. Which is part of the reason Team Secret kind of trying to avoid fights right now. And it's perfect in these sort of situations where Wind Ranger is able to push out the top lane, and because she's such a big threat via the Aghanim Scepter on that tier 3 tower, they do have to rotate back despite the aggressive position that LGD was in, because it's also hard to push uphill against an Ember Spirit, a farmed Ember Spirit at that, who's got both a Battle Fury and a Daedalus. So this is definitely no walk in the park for LGD, even with that Aegis.
Does he have an... Oh, he has 5,000 gold in the bank. I was like, his net worth is so high, but it seems like he has so little. 2 items and a blink is not that much here. But what does he grab next? MKB for sure. I think that's pretty clear, right? Against a Butterfly source. It's not completely needed because he's not the one that's going to do the brunt of the damage to the Shadow Fiend, but yeah, it'll add up in your Sleight of Fist, and you can do mini stuns on people just by using Sleight of Fist. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the only other thing I would think of is potentially he would get like the... if he felt enough pressure from LGD, he would hold on to his gold and maybe just get the Crystallis, right? Relatively cheap damage item and still hold on to enough gold for buyback. But he's going to do that via the Demon Edge, where the MKB, as you're talking. The 3,500 still sitting there. They are hunting Eternal Envy, or really anyone right now. LGD maybe able to catch someone. RTK, perhaps a blind hook? No.
Yeah, they didn't expect his blink there. Maybe he was waiting to where he was by the magic bush because he thought that Envy would walk from camp to camp, but he never did. He killed the camp very fast and he blinked. So he did it so fast that they didn't expect him, and they lose the kill.
And this is kind of what we're talking about. Are LGD actually going to be able to utilize this Aegis or not? Because Team Secret just... they've had it all game pretty much, and it's due to the nature of their heroes, Ember Spirits, Lardar, even the Wind Ranger with a Blink Dagger. They have so much mobility, they're able to push out the side lanes really aggressively and stay one step ahead of LGD most of the time.
Yeah, I really like their positioning there while they did have that major Aegis pressure, and they knew that LGD was likely in their jungle. I feel like some teams, when they're behind, they turtle way too much in their base. They basically say, we're not leaving our base until we win a crazy team fight and it's time to rax you. But Secret knows when it's time to do that, and when it's time to play aggressive and when it's time to play safe. And by doing that, they better balance their resource gain, and it helps keep them alive and helps keep them ahead of their opponents.
Eternal Envy just clears through one more wave, and will back out to a more defensive position on the side chop. He's going to actually head bottom. LGD have been inside his jungle, but... we've seen Eternal Envy. He's routinely playing around the trees. As you can see, once again, just blinks into the side jungle.
Salvation.
To stay out of the side of LGD.
It's the only way to live. Well, I guess they can still Clockwork Rocket. They're still hunting him. They're putting a lot of resources towards this. They do have a gem as well.
And this is what's so hard. You know he's in the side trees. You know he is. But there's just too many areas to search.
Yeah, your rocket only spots so much. It's a small area. You've got this ice shard as well moving around, but it's so difficult to set up kills on Ember. Envy has been playing very well, especially his anti-mage game as well. He just knows where his opponents are very likely to be. He very rarely does get ganked. And that game sense is one of the things that allows him to be a very good carry in situations like these. If his team can't farm correctly, or if they don't feel comfortable fighting, then he can still get farm while not dying. And that is something that is amazing, because it allows him to stay at the top of the net worth and to stay competitive with his opponent's carries.
Eternal Envy is now at the point where you can complete the MKB and still have enough gold for buyback.
It's a pretty good item too. I don't like it in replacement of Daedalus, but when you have both, it's a nice boost to your crit amount. And just getting that little mini bash in there can help as well. Interrupt animations, things like that sometimes throw your opponents off what they're doing.
And now, what does that mean, the Gyrocopter builds? You were actually talking about the AC earlier. The Butterfly was for maybe I don't really like AC on Gyrocopter, but I feel like it's an item they need as a team.
They do, but the clear AC target is usually a Shadow Fiend, but
Yeah.
he's going for a MKB of his own, I think. So I don't like AC. I feel like even a Scotty would be better, honestly. It'll give you like 3 armor. It's not a huge amount. It's something. Gives you 750 HP. I think the Scotty is the way to go, honestly. You could just perma slow Wind Ranger. It'll give you a little bit of damage, a little bit of everything you need. I think Scotty's the way. Plus, he's got a Manta. You might as well build stat items at this point. I think Scotty's the clear way to go.
What about Satanic?
Satanic's better. 5 armor, lifesteal. Yeah, Satanic.
But the
you're definitely
downside,
right on that.
the big downside of Satanic, though, because I'm going to back you up a little bit on the Scotty. You're up against an Ancient Apparition,
Yeah,
right? The
it
Ice
would
Blast.
stop it.
The active is Satanic, and even just the passive lifesteal may not be as effective.
It's a hard decision. It could honestly go either way. I think Scotty is unlikely, but I'm pretty confident that I feel it would be the most synergistic to what he's currently at, without having to go all in on just an attack speed item with the AC.
Looking at some of the other heroes of LGD, we have an Ags almost complete for ROTK, Force Staff and Ghost Scepter for DDC, something similar for the Tusk, and you were talking about the MKB about to be finished up by maybe as well.
Looks like Star's got BKB. Hell yeah.
Man, it's been a long time since we were talking about that, and Misery had so much, gold in the bank. But
Yeah. Well, they haven't
There's
fought
no
recently.
yeah, there's no space for Slardar to be the farmer. It's always Weehaw
Yes.
and
And even then,
he-
Slardar is never a fast farmer either, because
Yeah.
he's got a Slither and Crush. It doesn't do that much damage. He doesn't have AoE. Slardar is a hero that gains gold by murdering people, and there hasn't been a whole lot of murdering in the last 10 minutes.
No, it's been a relatively calm late game, as we're now 48 minutes in. 19 to 22, that net worth difference has been in the favor of LGD ever since they took that Roshan and been controlling the map decently well. Experience completely dead even. We now have that MKB. LGD, I'm sure they're going to be reaching a critical peaking point soon where they're going to try and force a fight. Of course, that's going to be backed up by them probably wanting to get Aegis and Cheese first before they go uphill. But, just looking at the SF by himself, he's almost maxed out. He'd have to trade in the Shadow Blade now if he wants to get another item.
He could upgrade it. It's not. Is there any passives that he's going to remove?
Yeah.
It won't stop Windrun or anything like that.
It's just Bash, I think.
Bash?
I'm not even sure if Bash gets removed.
I would think it does, but it's not important. It's not going to make or break this game by any means.
You say that, but watch. We'll have the critical Bash play come in.
I still feel like a Shadow Blade's pretty valuable, but it's very common for teams to carry gems. But if that gem goes away and they lose gem control and they have no more gems, a Shadow Blade is amazing, because then it's forcing these supports to say, well, no more Magic Wand, I have to carry a Sentry or a Dust, and it increases your chance of surviving in random ways.
Boots of Travel was actually the item for Sylar. So replacing his TP, still keeping the same old items.
He could hypothetically go Butterfly in case he's expecting a very delayed Wind Ranger MKB. And in fact, Wind Ranger built a BKB here. So he could definitely justify a Butterfly at this point.
Yeah. It would be a very time-sensitive item, right?
Yes.
It would have to be like one of those, okay, we've completed the Butterfly, we have to force fights in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, because as soon as he gets the MKB, then you're like, I really wish I didn't have a Butterfly.
That's right, we forgot about the Abyssal.
Oh, I was like,
Very common for gyrocopters.
That's you're gonna be like, what a great basher on a rage hero. I was like, are you crazy, man? Yeah, melee range basically stuns somebody. It's very good against Ember Spirit. It'll give him an opportunity to potentially solo him.
Yeah, and then of course it's one of the biggest just flat damage increase items out there.
Have you seen this much? Because this is the first time I've seen Abyssal. I understand the Abyssal's good.
The jump inside!
He got it.
The BKB in time, and now Weehaw, he's going to be a little bit threatened by the SF, but it's not time. The big Ice Blast comes right on through. That's going to be locking down 2. Team Secret, though, start backing up. They're playing this pretty passive, even after taking that Gyrocopter's kill. They start going for MMY. DDC just going to get eliminated immediately. Maybe he's on the hunt, trying to lock down anything he can. He's now going to pop the ult, but he's got to amplify damage, and Weehaw will be able to get that kill and get out. They take down 4 of LGD, and Team Secret will now push forward aggressively and take their first, maybe full lane of racks, and 2, I don't know, the Gyrocopter's the only one with buyback.
And there's no point for him to buy back right now. Him and a Clock aren't going to be able to slit on 5 full heroes, especially with the catch that he does it anyways. I really don't. I guess he can call down the creep wave. It'll slow things down very slightly.
But if he gets caught and he gets some sort of dieback scenario here, that's just going to be guaranteed game.
Call down coming through. Not even going to get any creeps, just some hero damage.
Team Secret are playing a little bit scared right now. They don't know if there's going to be more buybacks from LGD, so...
He popped BKB there, too. I don't know.
Yeah, this is probably going to be Secret now.
He bought
fully committing with the BKB on cooldown.
15 seconds is what he got his team there. 20 seconds. They go top racks instead of mid racks. I guess he saved his team at double racks, you could argue. And I think that's worth it, but now his net worth is going to be far behind.
They're going to go for the next lane of racks here, and they may contest with the 4 heroes, but they won't have that critical SF maybe.
They back off.
All right, just the tier 3 Team Secret pretty happy, and I would agree that they're in a very clear, much better position. LGD, I think they were so dependent on getting that Aegis and Cheese in order to force a good fight that if they lose both a lane of racks and they give up the Aegis, I'm not sure if they have a chance of being able to win this game. But fortunately, Team Secret are not going to go for the Roshan. Obviously, LGD have very long-range initiation from ROTK, the Blink Daggers, Snowball. So they're a bit afraid of being caught inside the Roche pit.
It's actually a BKB for the Witch Doctor. A little interesting. It's going to allow him to basically just channel his ultimate. So the only major change that happened to Witch Doctor Ags is that the Death Ward by itself does a little bit less damage. But once you do get the Aghanim Scepter, it doesn't... I'm sorry, before it would bounce once at level 3, now it bounces to all 5 basically instantly. No, I'm not articulating this correctly. Do you want to handle this for me? My brain.
The Ags now gives you 4 bounces, whereas before it was like
4 bounces and damage, right?
Yeah.
That was the major difference. So you don't get the damage anymore. And the numbers are slightly scaled differently, so not very different. But so basically, it's not an item you need if you're only hitting one person.
Especially since your Death Ward is already so powerful naturally. It's just an ability. It does insane damage. But you also have this really great synergy with the Slardar. If he's got amplified damage on somebody, it's like a focus fire, but from a support.
Yeah. Actually, they increased the damage. I'm sorry. It used to go 60, 90, 120, with the potential of going up to 150. Now it does 150 no matter what. That's 16. RTK might get caught.
Oh, RTK. He may have to use a hook shot in order to get away, but Misery's already made a side initiation on MMY. Unfortunately, the Ghost Scepter will protect him for a period of time. Misery popped his BKB and he's still trying to make some sort of commitment here. On the left-hand side, though, maybe he's taken away the Ember Spear. He's going to buy back. This is full committal here. They're going to go for the taunts, but Weehaw's going to be taken out before the Ember Spear can get here. Now, maybe he may be stunned up, but Puppey gets over the side of the cliff and will be able to TP out in time. Nice Force Staff with a little bit of assistance from Pylai Die. Side though is going to catch up to Pi. Pops the homing missile. DDC's on the hunt as well. He's going to have a Force Staff and Blink Dagger soon. I'm just not sure Pylai Die's BKB. No, it is going to be enough because LGD, they're not going to waste time going for that support. They have the opportunity to take Roshan.
Does he know though? Is he scared right now? I'd be scared.
All the way back to tier 3. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. But it is going to be Aegis and Cheese going the way of LGD.
Okay. Where did that... Did I thought I saw an Abyssal. Was there no Abyssal? He doesn't have it yet. Did he bash him from ranged?
Oh, he might have.
I swear I saw the Abyssal animation.
That's entirely possible. But now that he's got the Aegis, he can make the earlier commitment to the Abyssal. He doesn't necessarily have to hold on to buyback if he doesn't
that's a really
want
good point. I mean, even still, Secret's initiation is... Wow.
Oh, God.
They're dead.
Bye-bye, RTK.
Dead. That's a gem, actually. I don't think he'll notice, but...
No.
Completely worth it for him to go for that. Really nice grab there. Their fights are just so much better, though. Even still, like the speed at which the Gyro died in that fight when Secret got a Rax, like that's something that's going to exist for the entire rest of the game. LGD's fights, they had to force what they did before. It was a crazy team fight. Secret was completely spread out. Weehawba was by himself, surrounded by 3 people in melee range. That's the kind of fight that LGD needs, but it's so much harder for that fight to exist than it is for Secret to just get a shackle shot.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things is that LGD, they have their buyback back up for the Gyrocopter in 2.5 minutes, but Eternal Envy won't have his for another 2.5 minutes past that. So if they just wait a period, they're going to have this good 2-minute period where they can try and force a fight. If they get a kill on the Ember Spirit, potentially the game could be over from there. So Team Secret, I think, are the ones who are going to have to, again, go back to playing the mobility game, side pushing, and just draw the game out a bit more.
Do you think they'll bother?
Oh, God, they're actually going to make the initiation. DDC's gone. The toss Snowball couldn't save him in time. They will be able to get the Snowball, trapping in Weehaw with the help of the Eye Shard.
Oh,
Weehaw just getting destroyed by Maybe. Now Siler's going to be able to get a side slow onto Misery, but it's Eternal Envy one who keep our eyes on as he cannot afford to go down here. Reinitiation, but Misery misses the crush, and now the Abyssal Blade. Siler catches the Slardar, and Puppey's going to be caught by ROTK as as well. Team Secret are just falling to bits and pieces now as 3 down in LGD. All they lost was that Lion. But look what happened in the middle lane. They've got to go back and defend their base first.
Envy is ready. He's like, don't worry, guys, I'll win this. Takes the range barracks, hitting the melee barracks, in a position where LGD was ready to force buybacks. Instead, they lose buildings. That has got to feel horrible. That was such a good fight from LGD. The only thing we can really criticize out of Secret that really made the cookie crumble there was the BKB from Windranger. It prevented a force staff from an ally, so he got ice sharded in, and then that stuff just hit him 4 times. And if he was going to pop BKB, he needed to maybe just eat the ice or eat the snowball. That way, Tusk wasn't moving with him, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to pop BKB, eat the snowball, start moving. Force yourself, or blink maybe, I don't know. But he needed to not get hit by the ice shards, and he did.
There's still another 20 seconds for the Windranger, so maybe he might be able to go uphill and get a little damage on the tier 3, but it's really dangerous. I don't think he can do it without the full 5 of LGD.
Yeah,
He's going to try it anyway.
I mean,
You got the catch of the Slardar coming in rather soon, and the damage of the Windranger. So yeah, they force out the glyph, they get back immediately. They still have another 2 minutes with that Aegis.
And Puppy is actually the most farmed ancient apparition I've ever seen in my entire life.
Lincoln's.
That's an Abyssal Blade gyro counter. First time I've seen that one. So like, guys, we need a solution to this Abyssal Blade gyro. How do we do it? Lincoln's on ancient apparition. 6th item. That's really good to have. Very good against Lion as well. Another instant disable. He'll probably put this on Ember Spirit. Yep, there it is. He doesn't actually have any survivability items with the exception of Blink and the Scotty. So this will protect him a lot against the Lion or those instant initiations.
Yeah, that is really going to limit DDC's jump. And he may have to go for someone like the Windranger instead.
So Vlad's as well on Misery. There's some more armor for the team.
Man, they've got a double damage and everything. Oh, he does have Boots of Travel coming up, so they may still try and force the fight in mid. Another Abyssal Blade? All right.
LGD, what have you guys been studying in your free time? We're like, all right, get this, guys. We get 5 Abyssal Blades. We stun them for like 15 seconds. How can they win? Hookshot comes in.
Oh, the initiation from ROTK throws out the cogs, immediately forced staffs defensively. He did not have the rest of his team with him.
Yeah.
And Eternal Envy, seeing that bit of action, is immediately going to Boots of Travel the bottom lane and try and continue that push a bit further. Puppy, well, the Lincoln's going to help him out here, but he's still going to be hit by the hook shot. RTK looking to be able to get the cogs pushback, but it's actually the shackle shot that comes in first. And now DDC, he's going to be caught as well. MMY might be able to save him, but look at the supports. They've got the Abyssal Blade onto Misery. They easily control him long enough for Maybe and Siler to combine forces. Shackle shot doesn't quite land there, and now DDC is going to be able to get the Hex on a Weehawk, but oh my god, that slide of fist did so much damage. The snowball comes in. LGD, they're deep inside the enemy base. They're trying to go for Puppy, but the Ghost Scepter is protecting for the time being. They want to get Maybe, but Siler, you can't go this deep, my friend. The Death Ward's just going to take him out now. The second life, he's going to be in a very awkward position as the rest of LGD on full retreat here. I don't think there's any way they can see him. The MMY, potential snowball play, picking up Siler maybe. Yeah, he grabs him, gets him out. The rest of the Secret are going to be buying back to make sure that Siler does get caught completely. Doesn't get over the cliff. He's forced to turn and fight with his Manta. Tries to go for the kill on Misery. Maybe that's going to be worth it a little bit for Siler if he could just get it, but he doesn't have enough damage. MMY hoping to be able to get a little bit more. Walrus Punch not going to happen, and the missile will not be enough to kill Misery either. LGD now have 100 seconds down for the gyrocopter. He does have a buyback, but this is most definitely Secret. Going to be forcing that out now.
Man, this is those situations where it just helps to have so many items on your supports. Like, think how hard it was for LGD. They chased people from the large camp in the jungle all the way to the top racks just to try to get the kills they needed. And it resulted in them just barely overextending and Secret time and time again surviving. So great fight there by Secret. It's going to allow them to finish up this racks mid most likely. Or at least force buybacks.
Ember jumping out of DDC, and that chain's almost enough for them to be able to get the kill on DDC with the help of the Ice Blast, but Force Staff will get him away. RTK, the MMY TP's in at the wrong time, and that's going to be a block. Eternal Envy does manage to jump out after killing the Lion. There's the buyback forced out from the gyrocopter, but DDC does not have one for a full minute. He's going to be down. They haven't lost anything else in objectives, but Team Secret are just biding their time, waiting for their opportunity to strike.
I really like these Abyssals versus Slardar.
My god.
Does he even have item slots for this? Where?
Blink Abyssal ready to go. Siler is determined to be able to catch Eternal Envy or the Windranger in some sort of crazy next level maneuver.
The problem is that his only way to break the Lincolns is the Abyssal. So they have to combo these and waste an Abyssal Blade just to break a Lincolns. Or they'd have to have Tusk come with and do a Force Staff or something like that.
Maybe he missiles? Like he jumps in, missiles if there's Lincolns? That's too much time,
The missile
right?
has to hit to break Lincolns.
Oh, you're
They
right, you're
changed
right.
it.
Forgot
So
about that.
That's why I didn't kill Slardar, for example.
Yeah. Oh, there really is no good options with this Gyro.
Yeah.
All right. Him in the Lion. Let's see. Aggressive Force Staff. That's going to be a BKB popped. He's going to try and take out Misery, but he gets a good defensive Force Staff. Meanwhile, Sylar jumps right in, threatening both Maybe and Eternal Envy, but only bringing them down to half health. Sylar will continue to move on forward, but they're going uphill, and that's a dangerous bet to make. Sylar.
No.
Ooh. Starts backing away. LGD. A tense moment here for them as they've already popped a BKB. Sylar's down to half health just from that one. Hookshot going on to Weehaw. Do they have the damage finger attack? Not quite enough.
He's low though. 800 HP.
Time and time again, Team Secret. Oh, Sleight Fist onto 2. TDC. He's dropping so damn low. They need to get back, but Eternal Envy, he may just try and catch up with another Sleight Fist. Doesn't get it. A blink out from TDC will get him away. Eternal Envy on the front lines will be hit by the snowball. Maybe he's going to try and target him, but he bounces back to his remnant once again. Meanwhile, Ancient Apparition will be able to take the line with that Ice Blast with the Focus Fire. Jump in. There's the Abyssal Blink. Abyssal onto Weehaw with the MKB. They'll take him out. Sylar making some moves now.
The defense continues. 2 dead heroes. 1 Puppy's in trouble.
Yeah, the supports are definitely going to be caught here. Eternal Envy comes in from the side, but now he's immediately going to be turned on. His own shot gets laid out. Force Staff will save him. Misery making the reinitiation, but the BKB doesn't last long enough, and now the Death Ward will take out that help. RTK's down and maybe has to back up to the defense of the base once again. Misery perhaps looking for another initiation. They do have a Wind Ranger with a buyback, and he does have Boots of Travel if they really want to go in. They can buy back and TP in, but I just don't think that's going to be a safe play for Team Secret, especially with Roshan now up.
Witch Doctor's ulti is missing as well. He doesn't even have Maledict. I think it might be time to get some points, though, honestly. Like, with the low BKB duration, if you just throw one down on a Gyrocopter and he takes, like, half of his HP pool, the Maledict could do pretty much finish him off. Or Maledict in combo with AA ult, you can definitely focus. He's got a Force Staff as well. The Force Staffs have been great from Secret here. It's really the only thing keeping them alive in these fights. I kind of feel like Wind Ranger needs to buy one for herself because she's really the hero that is most vulnerable on Secret. Like, if she BKBs, it comes down to Ice Shards, and then SF hits her 4 times. She's not that strong right now due to all the MKBs that are sitting on LGD. And I feel like she has to make herself more survivable, or it's a huge issue for Secret.
Roshan is going to be taken out here by Team Secret. Unless LGD managed to rush into the Roshan pit in time. But with the amp damage, it's just too much.
Wow, great way to make yourself more survivable. Aegis the Immortal. All right.
And that means Weehaw, he actually wants to go in, but Manta helping to stop that bit of aggression here from Team Secret. So they're just hoping to control both the bottom and middle lanes, poke and prod until they either get an objective or find an opening to initiate.
This hasn't been a place that Secret has been in probably 30 minutes here. Like, it looked like they were winning, but then boom, LGD kept getting Roche. And now finally they have the Aegis, they have the cheese. They're in a good spot finally.
Speaking of that, who picked it up? Misery.
Yes. I really like it on him because there's been a lot of fights used as strength.
I think LGD know the Team Secret are going to try and jump in, but the hook shot was blocked once again. RTK's just going to man mode right in with the Force Staff. Actually bumps back Puppy. That'll be their first target. They will be able to take him out, but meanwhile on the side, DDC, no. Actually gets a Ghost Scepter to be able to help himself. Good Sleight of Fist, but Eternal Envy has to bounce himself away. It's too much scariness from LGD. 2 supports down. Weehaw's going to be hunted a little bit. TDC. Oh, the Shackle Shot! What? Are you kidding me? Sylar's going to be targeted here, and he still has chance of getting taken out by a big critical. Weehaw, the target of MMY, but Misery comes in with a save. 2-man stun. They need maybe to finish off Weehaw, but he's going for Misery first. Start targeting Weehaw as he blink forward aggressively, but that's just the Aegis. Meanwhile, the side of Fist comes in from the side. They've taken out MMY. RTK's next up. There's just too many heroes from Team Secret. LGD, they've been surrounded, and they don't have any buybacks. That's only going to be maybes, and there's no way he can 1 versus 5. What a game 1 of this series between Team Secret and LGD.
Holy crap, man. The items 65-minute game. We're like 3 levels deep of a late game Dota game due to all this crazy stuff. How many Force Staffs did they have to use to even get that far? Secret looks pretty happy, semi-relieved maybe on Misery.
And Misery's
But-
just worn out, man. He's
Yeah,
like,
no kidding.
my God, that game took everything I had, but Pylite Eye is all smiles.
He probably just feels bad as KDA was not very good. He feels